I gotta ask you though, man, like, cause I know you're a busy guy, and I know you're right now. You're by pushing your records, man, hard right now. But I want to take you back to the beginning, man. I gotta ask you, like, what actually inspired you to get into the music industry initially?
Well, I mean, I used to listen to like A.D.E back in the days with the electronic voice. I mean, I listen to all different parts of Miami bass, but the electronic, electro type bass part caught my attention. And that had been A.D.E with the like bass mechanic raps and songs, and all of his tracks really kind of inspired me, really. So I ended up signing with them guys.
And I gotta ask you, man,
Um,
just signing with them, like, what was it like working under that imprint? Because back in those days, Miami bass was this huge.
I mean, it was like, I mean, it's kind of difficult with us because although we did Miami bass, I stayed in Michigan, like Grand Rapids, so um, we had to do a lot that we had to do at one time. We went like back and forth, stuff. We had lives and stuff here, kids and all the other family members here that we had to tend to. So me and Needles, it was like, we didn't really we didn't really keep up with what our album was really doing. We kind of thought it wasn't as big as it was. And, kind of turned out it was bigger, huger, like much huger than we ever imagined. But,
And also as well, oh, sorry about that, Mega.
oh, you're good. What you said?
I was gonna say in 1987 as well, you actually released your self-titled vinyl, and I was wondering what's the story behind that amazing vinyl? Because I know, in my personal opinion, like then you weren't using Mega John bass, you were under Iceman Joss. So I was wondering, like, what actually made you transition into, of course, Mega John?
Um, well, I mean, I was using Iceman. It was actually Iceman J. I just spelled it different. I changed that so many times growing up older to Iceman J by itself, DJ Iceman. But Transformer, the song was like inspired by, I guess, just the movie Transformer. When around that time, the first Transformer that came out, it was, we was amazed about the sounds and stuff like that. The morphing when they transition into Transformers or when they were reversing. And so me and Neil came up with the idea of the record doing it. Him scratching it. Well, first we was doing it real fast, like just like that. Everybody was transforming, trying to do it quick. So then I told him maybe we should try it slow to a rhythm, like just be scratching, and I guess we had to kind of develop ourselves to be like, oh yeah, that is dope because like I said, Transforming was fast. We wanted to do that quickly, like everybody else was, but we decided to just keep it that low, that slow, because it was turned into its own like groove, on top of the bass. So we went with that. You know, but yeah, but that's how we got inspired with Transformer to do. We actually made that track maybe about almost a year before we even put it out. We had done that and Mega John bass, and so excuse me. But when I was using Iceman J, I still had that character Mega John because I said it in the song. I just never took the character like further until like later on to my next music. And that was with Joey Boy.
And also in 1993, you dropped my personal favorite album by you, which is actually Jack and the Bass. And I was always wondering, what's the story behind that phenomenal record? And of course, like, where can our listeners actually snag themselves a copy of that today? Because I do know, of course, it's a fairly old record, but I was wondering, like, is it still circulating the net to be purchased or streamed today?
Well, yeah, a lot of my old tracks are still out there that you can, buy it. A lot of them are still on all the different download platforms. You can stream it or I guess by the MP3. Joy Boy, the guy who I was signed with, Joy Boy on Top Records, they still have a lot of rights to those tracks. So I guess that's who you really deal with through them. I guess Joey's the only one since so that I know of that still own all the rights to all his Miami music. A lot of them sold it to different other companies down the line, and they start selling out of Miami-based songs and stuff like that, from my knowledge. But it's still out there, and that track was basically, I did three records with Joey, like, at once. And Jack in the Bass was one of them, Mega John Bass by Iceman J was one, and there's one more, nothing but a bass thing. We did that one. And then I did another one that I tried to do in the hotel within that week. I was still in the hotel about a week after we did 3 albums, and I think I tried to do one more while I was there. So I was eager back then to get a lot of music done. And I believe, I'm trying to think, maybe it wasn't Jack in the Bass. There's an EP that I did. I can't remember it right now, but it was like a fourth. It was maybe 7, 8 songs, I believe. Not sure, but I kind of ran through that one. That was like a fourth album that I was doing with Joey. So that was the only stuff I did with him, though. That was in a Miami bass type style.
And also, jumping ahead a little bit in the timeline, in 1999, you were actually featured on the cassette tape Killer Grooves by DJ Easy One. I was wondering, how did yourself and DJ Easy One get connected? And of course, what's the story behind that phenomenal collaboration?
Well, I'm still trying to remember who that is, because Joey he had us do different. I mean, like after a while in '99, that's when basically our contract was up, but he still had rights to the music, so I guess he was mixing us up with other different groups, because I kind of know. Now, personally, I don't know him, this guy, so I mean, it's kind of new to me that you bring it up. A lot of stuff that I was in and involved with. I think Next Plateau back in the day. I never met them, but then I heard that my songs was on their label. So.
Especially back in the day, those collaboration records were coming out. I noticed as well, even back in the day, it was more of a West Coast thing, but a lot of people would take people's music, slap it on a collaboration record, and sell it on the block. I had a few artists tell me that as well, and then since it's out there and it's circulating, people throw it up on Discogs.
Yeah. I've heard, there's been a lot of different collaborations. And there's been a lot of bootleg going on too of music. I've seen my regular Dance Transformer look just like it with a fresh sports type label, and it was just so clean cut. I knew it was bootleg, And then it's just not only that, I just heard other music that's been bootlegged over from over different parts over the world. I guess they figured that they'd never see the artists and, untouchable or something because of the distance they are at. But back in the day, and they kind of right. The companies don't really follow, the old stuff like Miami Bass to try to. It's not even worth, going to another country to try to sue whoever don't make the copy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not as huge as it was, the style, I guess. Or I guess that plays a little part of it, but it's just different factors of why a company just doesn't, follow the points who's making illegal records and stuff. But I don't see a lot of the bootleg Miami-based records that's being made, and just gotta respect the game. Back in the day, we just couldn't just take music and just do what we want with it. But I guess the internet has changed that, made it so easily for people to just do what they want with the music, that they feel that they can just copy it now and resell it. Like they got a thing called rebase, where they taking your song and other guys who have nothing to do with the song, not the artist or no affiliation, is making all the money. Just putting a drum machine beat top of your song or old songs. So that's not cool either, because artists we put a lot of work into that, thought we get topped off in the pocket with it. You know what I mean?
And also, as well, you are actually the commander-in-chief over at On Fire Electronic Records LLC. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about your company, and of course, who do you currently have signed to you today?
Oh yeah, well, On Fire Records is my own company, and I pretty much was doing my own stuff. I've been using that name for about since 2012. I just really didn't get really serious with it until later on, maybe like a few years ago when I started just taking it, taking it further. I just got back in the game, and I didn't want to really be with no label. I want to do my own thing, so I started my own company. Got it registered with the state of Michigan, and just got everything legit. Right now I'm on a pause. I had to pause the company because of COVID and all that other stuff. So I went back to work. I also well, so I did a lot of tracks, and now I think I'm gonna relax until maybe probably next year. I bring it back up. I still got a lot of music out there that I did within the last 2 years. Several albums. So I got enough to circulate out there, but I'm gonna let that die out for a while before I end up coming back and making more stuff. I want to hear what others got to say and what they're gonna do for a while, and see if this Miami thing can perhaps escalate to another type of, a new type of Miami bass. And that's what I always been wanting, because we got all the skills now. I mean, a lot of us don't master it in our crafts and everything, but again, it's kind of hard to make something that died out relive unless you change something. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard part. A lot of mine be basically listeners don't want nothing changed, and it's just I don't see where something will come back around the block like that on music, which it happens, but the skills have to be sounded like you evolved in order for a person to take it serious again. That's my opinion, personally.
And also, as well, on July 22nd, 2020, you actually released the album Boomsday, which also you released alongside with it the Boomsday instrumentals. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about that project, and of course, is it actually still available to be purchased today?
Yeah, Boomsday is still out now, and the instrumental pack. Yeah, I released that with a lot of different online platforms, so they still have it. The CDs and stuff, and this probably won't be available for a while. The CDs and vinyls I was selling personally for my company, so you really won't find that nowhere, except coming from On Fire Records. But Boomsday was basically like Doomsday, like the end of all the end of the how should I say, not the end of bass, but kind of like the beginning, like what's going on really with the Walking, Fear the Walking Dead. The beginning is the end, so it's kind of like that, the beginning of a new type of Miami type bass, and it also is personal in there because I attacked a few artists that I had beef with back in the day. Not really no personal beef, but just on music. Magic Mike, I'm gonna say, is one. And so we I since Joey Boy days and with Fury, they had me go after him, and I just ended up finding out why now myself. That I'm not dissing no rappers or none. Everybody is dope on went back in their days and everything. They have their type of sounds and all of that. It's just personal little thing vendetta that I've had with him and a few other cats. So I kind of had that in the song. Back in the day, that's what music was. But hip hop was dissing and boasting. And a lot of that I did back then. If you think back, remember on the back of Dance Transformer was Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive was straight like boast rapping. And a lot of the style that I got was from LL Cool J. All that got guys was both rapping who the baddest, you know. That's how we really grew up in hip hop, telling our story, you know.
And I gotta say as well, like especially within hip hop and you know what I mean, other genres that are so close to hip hop, everybody, even all genres, everybody has a beef at some point or another within the music industry. You know, I'm glad to hear that you guys actually cleared that up and whatnot. You know, because after all, man, at the end of the day, it all comes down to making amazing music.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I say I have nothing personal towards no cat, no musician, none of that, you know. Back in the days with Joey Boy, it was all for just really for sales. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know the cat, you know, but, you know, at that moment, the beat was selling. So I joined into it, you know. But, you know, like you said, in the end, it's all about the music on the end. We all love it, and I don't take nothing personally with me past the music. You know what I'm saying?
And also, as well, when we're still talking about relatively new records, I saw as well on your Facebook that you're actually cleaning out your website currently right now. And I don't know if it's complete, if that whole sale is completely done yet, but if it isn't, I was wondering if you can tell our listeners just a bit more about this website clean out. And of course, people that are listening, whether it's live or on demand, how can they actually go about snagging themselves some last minute copies of whatever records you have left?
Well, yeah, like I told you, I had put everything on a pause standstill, so, you know, I used to keep paying for a website if I'm not doing nothing. So the music is like basically, yeah, like I said, you can get it on digital downloads everywhere still. You can still grab some hard copies up, like with Discog, and a lot of my personal friends know how to contact me through Facebook to ask to see if I can, you know, by any chance have some copies or can I make some for them, you know. So basically, it's mostly the personal, like people that's on my friend list really communicate with me on record on what they need and this and that right now. And that's going to die out soon. I'm basically, you know, ready to stop making all of those. So I'm just going to let all that stuff die, and I'm gonna jump on something really high tech here, you know, by next winter. So I'm just gonna save all that and start freshly on whole new songs and new albums. I want to listen to what everybody has to do that's in the genre now, and see if they help try to, you know, bring this back like I did, and then see where they go from there. And then I'll be back. But this time I'm gonna have like a distributor do everything for me. You know, sometimes communicating personally with fans can be a good thing, but then it also can be a bad thing because fans sometimes don't understand that you still got you're human and you you know you're not perfect, and so there's certain sales or certain things like the mail taking long that's out of our control, but then we still get you know, you still get barked at on the internet because they're our friends, so they can just send messages. It's been a month or 2 months, yeah, but you're in another country that your postage is different. They hold it for, you know, customs for, like in Brazil, they hold my music there for like 3 months before a person gets the music. And by that time, the fan who was waiting for that song is furious, and he ain't got nobody to talk to but me. So, although he loved my music and loved who I am, I get it. He wanted his music. So it's like the relationship started turning a little sour until the music comes in and I'm sorry, my bad, and, you know, our customs here and do you accept my apology. This is like all a lot of times, you know, so I just really want to have somebody I just want to make the music, put it in, you know, put the website with another company, let them handle all that, let them answer all of that. I just want to make the music this time that's coming up. So I just learned a lot from different mistakes, and I'll approach that a little different this time when I come back into the music.
But I gotta ask as well, because obviously, of course, like you said, you're not gonna be doing anything until, of course, next year or so. But I gotta ask you, like, is there anything I missed during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? While we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves.
No, I just love, you know, all the fans, and I appreciate all their help and the stuff they done for me, you know, purchasing, so I, you know, keeping things going. I mean, they helped out a lot on that. The fans that know us, so really just keep your ears open. Like I said, I'm a surprising person. When I made Transformer, I just came straight out with it. Nobody had no clue I was coming or not. So I'll be back before you even know it with a whole lot of new different out of this world type music. Trust me, I got a long imagination. Other than that, stay up and be cool, and I appreciate the love you have me on the radio for the interview.
But I gotta ask you quickly, right before we part ways, where can our listeners actually find you so they can stay updated on everything when you do start back up your music?
Well, my name's Iceman J.A., Major John Bass, DJ Iceman J. Google those names. You'll come up with my Facebook page or somewhere where they still got the vinyls, or somewhere wherever you see. I'm going to be behind it because it's my music. Unless somebody's trying to do some underground type bootleg stuff. But normally, if it's legit me and my music, it's gonna come from me. So you Google those names, and you already you keep up with what I'm doing and what I've already done out there. So like I say, mainly my Facebook Mega John Bass page is where I do a lot of friends, we discuss and post, what's going on.
But I gotta say, Mega John, thank you so much, man, for just taking the time out of your busy evening and sliding into the 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM airwaves, man. It was an honor and most definitely a privilege to have you on my radio station this evening.
No doubt. I appreciate it, man. You take care, and keep doing your thing.
Most definitely, man. I will try my best. Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful night.
Yep, you too. Peace. Boom.